Okay. Good afternoon to everyone, and we welcome you all to this session. And hopefully, by the end of the session, we should be able to add value to each other and share some good insight on our today's topic, which is the next generation washrooms in the space of hospitality and the industry as such. So, I'm very happy to welcome the eminent panelists. The panelists are Mr. Harshit Gupta from RG Icon. This is a plumbing contracting firm. And Amit Agarwal, who is the Associate Director of Studio Symbiosis. Ritu Claire, who is the founder of Total Integrated Designs, a Singapore-based international design firm. And Ashutosh Shah, who is the MD at Duravit. And myself, Madhu Chandok. I am an academician teaching at various platforms on design and design management and materials, as well as I am founding partner of PIP 2020, which is a design firm. So I would just request each one of you to introduce yourself briefly before we get into our discussion. Amit, if you can introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah. Hi, I am Amit Agarwal, Associate Director, Studio Symbiosis. Studio Symbiosis is an architecture and design studio based in London, Stuttgart, and Delhi, involved in projects, skills, and sectors. The design philosophy of the studio is to create integrated, sustainable design solutions by the means of computational tools and techniques.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Amit. Ritu, if you could introduce yourself briefly.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here. I'm Ritu, and I'm heading Total Integrated Design in India. We are a global interior design firm with our partners in Singapore and Malaysia, and we've been in the business in India for 25 years. We design for hotels, service apartments, clubhouses, offices, etc. And we provide full design solutions, right from concept, choosing the materials, visiting the site. And we are doing projects across India and neighboring countries.
Thank you, Ritu. Mr. Ashutosh, yourself.
Hi, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Ashutosh. I'm Managing Director at Duravit India. Duravit is a global brand operating in most part of the world. And it's a well-known brand in the segment of bathroom, particularly in the premium and the designer series end. Thank you.
Okay. Harshit, yourself. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon. I am Harshit Gupta. I am from RG Icon. We are a plumbing and firefighting contractor. We are in this industry since past 38 years. I'm the third generation in this company now. My grandfather and my father, and now me. I am heading on towards it. Hopefully, we are going to innovate this industry. We are trying our best to innovate this industry to a right direction. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Harshit. So let's now get on to our discussion for today. And I think my first question to all of you is, what do you think today's current situation with this COVID-19 situation and the pandemic around us has changed in terms of a bathroom or a washroom design and how it has affected? I would just like a very brief insight from, say, a pointer from each one of you. So Amit, to start with you, Amit, what do you think has changed or will change? Please put on your mic. You are muted at the moment, Amit.
Mainly, it's about the hygiene. We want everything should be contactless, touchless. And other thing is means saving the water and energy.
Okay, so these are the 2 points that you have. Ritu, what do you think would change from a designer perspective? You know, like you are designing. So what do you think your focus will change suddenly on that?
Well, I think while we've always been particular about the maintenance of materials, but I would say that the attention would be now more towards that materials that can be maintained, how the design of the bathroom can be a quick turnaround, especially in hospitality, how to help housekeeping do a quick turnaround. So the entire design should be focused on that when we plan the space.
Yeah, so material change. And Mr. Ashutosh, what do you feel from a manufacturing perspective in terms of your own space? What would be the one take, if you have to identify one thing? We will discuss the other aspects surely in a conversation. But what one thing do you think? You are also muted. If you could just unmute yourself.
Yeah. So one word is hygiene, of course. All the equipment and product that we manufacture or we do now or will do in future, the aspect of hygiene was already there, but it has taken a center stage, especially with the multi-users either in the home or in a public place. So focusing on product or equipment which are more touchless or take care of your health and hygiene is coming to the center stage now.
Okay, thank you. And Harshit, what do you think is changing? Please unmute yourself and you can answer. What do you think will change from your perspective in terms of execution, in terms of implementation? What do you think?
And people are very cautious these days about toilets, especially while opening the doors. Even they are using their elbows, their feet to open the door. Nobody is using handle to open the door. So touchless gate entry would be a good innovation for now for toilets as well.
Okay.
And for washing their hands, there is already sensorless, contactless technology available, but it should be more available to even remote areas as well now. And for urinals, there is sensorless technology available. Similarly, it is available for WC as well.
Okay. So, Ritu, if we can I can start with you as a designer and wearing that hat for so many years and being in that space. uh, what is it that in terms of the creativity or design part that you will change your outlook, or you will do some more research before you actually specify any materials or design that basis in a washroom?
So I think the good thing is that there are coatings coming about which uh, are called antimicrobial coating, and research is being done. So those will help in the overall maintenance aspect of the materials. Um, and I think where the design is going is that darker tones of sanitary fittings are now being used, like colors like black and rose gold and brass, which earlier probably was not looked into as in sanitary fittings particularly. So it's giving designers a much wider attention, like ability to give attention to design to bathrooms, which were earlier thought of as utility areas. But we've seen in the last almost, I think, 5 to 7 years that guests are enjoying the bathrooms more and wanting to critique the bathroom design as well, and not just the room or the lobby. And therefore, it challenges us as designers to make the bathroom almost, you can say, like a second room. So going forward, I feel lighting is going to be, it's always been important, but it's not been given its due importance. And I think that is something which we would like to focus on even more, because with good lighting, which is needed anyways for your makeup and your own vanity needs, I think that will also show that the place is kept clean. Because a well-lit space will show that it's a clean space. So good lighting will help in that for the guest comfort. So we like to choose the lights on the face of the mirror and have the pin spot on the washroom. So in that way, you get the good lighting on your face. At the same time, the pin spot on the counter gives you the feeling of cleanliness and an overall indirect lighting. Right. Similarly, we feel that lighting below the counter is used as a night light in mostly luxury hotels. But I think if it's brought in across segments, then again, it will even help housekeeping ensure that places are kept clean and give the guests an overall good feel. So lighting is very important. And in terms of overall design, I would say that I would still go back to space planning before I look at materials.
Yes.
And today, all the more, the earlier the designer comes in, we can help plan the space well, along with the architect, because then you can decide the shaft size and the location so that you don't get odd corners or cramped spaces. Now, all of this again come back to cleanliness. If your space is designed well, you don't get odd corners which are not cleaned.
Yeah.
So before even I look at materials, these are the things that I would look at. And then of course with materials, you're getting sinks today which are designed and colored, and the way the fixtures are designed, they actually match a theme. So if I'm doing an industrial design or a Scandinavian design, so the way the sanitary fixture designs are coming about, I can actually choose them as per the theme of the room or the overall style of the hotel.
Yeah. Thank you, Ritu. So taking a cue from what just Ritu said, Ashutosh, I would like to come to you for a bit. Being a manufacturer, what do you think that, what are you embracing as technology in terms of developing these new needs or the new requirements that have come in? Not that they were not there earlier. We were always, hygiene was, but then innovation in terms of embracing technology by a manufacturer. What are the new initiatives that manufacturers in that sanitary fitting space are trying to pursue? Please unmute yourself.
So there is no doubt that touchless is the future. Well, the current scenario has made people more sensitive about touchless. According to me, it's a much needed technology for the comfort and hygiene of the end user. I expect growing demand for this category. Already, sensor wash toilets, toilets which has connection now with the sensors. It's an electronic technology which has developed around us in other categories. Is now being integrated into a bathroom, and the sensor wash toilets are available. They can be fully functional now from the remote, even with a mobile app. And so imagine a very personalized app that runs your smart toilet. The time has come that we need to understand all the touch point in the bathroom where multiple users operate one switch or a button. For example, electronic urinals, vanity mirrors, faucets, soap dispensers, all can function touchless. And this is your future bathroom. This is where you are going. So essentially in this category, there's a lot of attention with the help of new technology into going into this part, apart from the design and the quality which are time immemorial.
Okay. So, Amit, in terms of your architectural planning of bathrooms, when you are planning for a particular project, what are the challenges that you will face or you are facing currently in terms of giving all these new requirements a little bit of an area? Because from a user's perspective or from even from an investor's and a developer's perspective, space is becoming more and more expensive. So bathrooms are not as lavish, especially in the mid-segment market. The bathroom size is not very big. So how do you think, what are your challenges and how do you think, what are the new initiatives or innovations that you are looking at? Amit, please unmute yourself.
Moisture. Main thing is the moisture that will challenge us to use different finishes. So we choose every finish which is waterproof, moisture proof. So it will sustain for long time.
Okay. And what about the basic planning in terms of the allocation of the various, say the WC, the wash basin, the shower and the bathtub? How do you think it impacts the planning in terms of the new look and feel that you want to create?
Actually, it will give us the time. So it is changing. Now washroom is bigger. So we have more space for these things. We are also planning new things like jacuzzi, steam bath, etc., etc. So it's.
But that is more in, say, the luxury segment. So Ritu, maybe I'll just come back to you for a minute on this. In terms of the designing, in terms of the new hotels that you are designing or other projects that you're doing, say service apartments, long stay projects. So all there, is the bathroom size, do you think is increasing and we are eating up a little bit on the room size to accommodate all the guests requirements in the bathrooms, or they are becoming smaller? What do you think, or what are you experiencing?
Well, in the budget category, there is no change in the bathroom size as such.
Mhm.
But if I take the example of the Ibis Hotel, which I think is one of the largest
Mhm.
number of budget hotels as a brand in India, we are definitely going for in situ bathroom as opposed to modular, which
Mhm.
was smaller. So from that angle, yes, there is a change that it's slightly larger because of the in situ bathroom in
Mhm.
its proportion.
Yeah.
But in terms of the rest of the business hotels, and we're seeing more of four-star hotels, I would say that there isn't that much change from a demand point. It has to be in proportion to the room.
Mhm.
But it's more of attention to the designing and planning inside the bathroom.
Mm.
So where we feel that the space might be tight due to probably the proportion of the room size. So for example, if you're looking at a 220 up to a
Mhm.
maybe 240 square feet room, which is not very large, then I cannot have a lavish bathroom. But
Mhm.
then I have to look at how best to plan it. So for example, I would do a sliding door instead
Mhm.
of a swing door.
Mhm.
Or I would not do, if I'm doing a shower cubicle, I would not do a door as such, but more
Mhm.
do a partition. In
Mhm.
fact, mostly we're going for showers instead of bathtubs. So
Yeah.
that also saves the space.
Mhm.
But in terms of luxury, the moment you get into luxury segments, there, yes, the bathrooms are, I would say, as important, as I said earlier, as the room. So I
Mhm.
would like a larger bathroom space and
Mhm.
definitely minimum four fixture bathroom.
Yeah,
The
that's
moment
what
you get into
Amit is
luxury,
also mentioning, that
yes,
coming in into the new variety
yes.
and all. And now, Harshit, being a implementer or an execution on ground, is there anything that you have seen the journey, since you mentioned you are the third generation, and maybe what started with your grandfather, with your father, and now today you are there in the forefront. How do you see things changing, and especially in the current scenario? What do you think is the innovation, or what is required to make a good washroom which is futuristic and still safe and hygienic?
Like you said that this is the third generation that I'm working in. The main thing that I have changed is the quality of pipes. Earlier in water supply they used copper piping, GI pipings and all, but now they have all shifted to CPVC and PEX piping, because GI pipes after a certain period of time they need replacement. In, for example, in Lalit Hotel in Lalit Goa, we changed almost their complete system of all toilets of their hotel, in external as well as in internal. So to save that concern, and CPVC has a good lifespan of about 50 to 75 years as they claimed. PEX is was introduced in 1972, and it's like almost 50 years now, and we have not heard any single like pinhole or anything sort of complaint in PEX piping. So these are the things that we have seen in the past years. Similarly, CI has completely been wiped out by pressure rated and UPVC pipes. CI being very costly, and even in hotels also, no one is using CI now. They have shifted to PP, polypropionated pipe. So that is completely soundless pipe, which save their space as well, time as well, and everything.
Okay. So taking a cue, and there's a question that comes to everybody's mind, and maybe between Mr. Ashutosh and Harshit, you could answer. What is the future of thermostatic bath fittings in a bathroom? So I'll just give you an example, and I can set a little tone on this. That thermostatic fixtures, which are especially at the shower area, which is very much important, and it is a very big safety requirement. Although price comes into a big way in taking these decisions, but according to, and we've done full research on that, it's very important and safe to have these mixtures, because say it's a hot water and cold water running through the mixer, and in case if there is the cold water stops for any reason, a thermostatic mixture will stop the water run completely. Now
Correct.
that's where it comes, and there's a lot of research and development happening. All local as well as international companies have adapted it for long time. It's not something new. But what do you see in terms of a future for this? I have this question to Ashutosh, Amit, Harshit, anybody. What do you think? Is there a good future for it? Will people embrace this technology? Because again, cost is another criteria that comes, but then safety above cost is something that we need to be satisfied with. So what do you say? What's your thought?
Ma'am, we consider this as a very, it's a safety valve, rather we should say that, the thermostatic valve.
Mhm,
It is not that costly also. It will cost us 2,000 to 3,000 per washroom.
mhm,
It is
more.
not that costly also. So
Mhm,
if we use an Indian make, if we use Indian make, Lahiri make is a good make. If we use that make also, the price of a thermostatic valve is around 2 to 3,000 for 15 dia valve. And it
but
is a really very good valve for safety purpose of children. For
yeah, for
instance, that they
everyone.
don't,
Yes.
yes,
Right.
if for instance children don't know which side to open for hot or cold, and if they tend to open on the wrong side or the hotter side, then it might be a different situation for them. So
Mhm.
it's a good thing, very good thing.
Yeah. And Ashutosh, do you see it evolving in a big way now in future? People embracing it really well.
Yes, very much. I think this technology will only go forward. And I agree with Harshit that with the electronic technology, the cost is not a concern. I think we see it going a downward journey and getting more and more smarter, actually.
Mhm,
There are two, three things which are very interesting happening. One of them is for example, there are a lot of companies who have adapted a maximum temperature limit
mhm,
so that there's a safety aspect. So no matter what happens, it doesn't allow a temperature to go typically beyond 50 degree, for example, on outer side or something like that.
mhm,
The other aspect is that there is a child safety which is built into this kind of a
mhm,
mechanism, which is an additional feature. One
mhm,
of our customer, we were talking, I experienced that they were talking about how to optimize, the water use, especially the hot water. It's linked with energy. So there is a like kind of a green button which become yellow and the red depending on how much water you
yes.
use. So even it is integrated with the a sustainability or a green or a water friendly, so that you
Mhm,
don't use unlimited amount of water. So these are new things which are entering apart from a very basic, thermostatic
yeah.
features in
Yeah.
a faucet.
So while I'm on you, Ashutosh, I need you to elaborate. There's a question as well that the touchless technology that you are developing and many manufacturers all in this space are working on in the bathroom space. So can you just throw some more light and some detail on that?
So, touchless technology. There are toilets now, or I would describe each one of them, but quickly. The
Yeah.
toilet, for example, today it is possible to imagine a toilet which, as you go closer to the toilet, the seat will automatically lift.
Mhm,
There is a lead light which will automatically get switch on because it recognizes the presence of a person. The seat start getting warmer if that is something you program in this way. If it's a winter, or you can program it, you can put it on
mhm,
off. It will do a auto flush, realizing that probably it's not been used for some time.
mhm,
So these are the function which happen. So virtually the person don't have to plan any action depending on personal needs, and this kind of a function can be programmed according to one's personal choice also.
mhm,
So in the same toilet, if there are three users, there can be three different program possible.
mhm,
Apart from this, there is a technology available where even if you are not using this toilet for a while, you are traveling outside and you are not at home, then you program it that once in a week or once in a period, it automatically flush the toilet so that there is not a further thing is getting infected or whatever.
mhm,
So these are the other features which are available. Plus, the toilet also available today, where it's actually a functional that you have a mobile app, and with the help of mobile app, you can virtually do all the functions of the toilet.
mhm,
And this means you are not touching the product at all. This is also possible. So especially
mhm,
when you have maybe a maid or other people at home who's cleaning and you want to keep an extra hygiene, these are the possibilities. Similarly, there are mirrors available where you have a warmers and a lighting function, but you don't need to touch the mirror. As your finger goes closer to the mirror, then it can automatically do all the function. It will switch on automatically or off, or you can use various functions. taps, of course, we know from the past, they are also available in a similar way. So the technology of the sensor-based technology is really extending. It came from other electronic field, but now it's getting extended into bathroom in many, many areas like that. There are a lot of advanced research going on to take this technology further. For example, you will not be surprised tomorrow that a toilet is automated to function and take your urine test, and the results of the test are transferred to your Google account with an Wi-Fi enabled unit, and in such a way that it measures continuously your sugar, your pH, and various other parameters. And when you have a health issues or something that you want to monitor, this is also possible. The companies are doing advanced research in this area. So technology is, of course, moving step forward and forward in this direction. And I guess it's no stopping. It's going to go further. And it will move parallel to a new technological development in other field also, which will be further integrated for the use and the comfort of the end users.
So Ritu, I just have one more question back to you that, with this technology, sensor technology coming in, touchless situation coming in, how, while specifying or designing, how open designers will be today to touchless technology, even in the vanity faucets, because vanity is somewhere where you are touching actually maximum, because you're closing it, you're opening it. Sometimes you want to do the pressure less. So there's a lot of interface happening. So how do you think this thing will move? Will people embrace this very easily? Will you be able to implement it in your designs? Or are you open to all this?
Well, I mean, we are open to it definitely in the public toilets for sure, as in the
Which is
hotel lobbies and all that.
already happening.
And I think, initially it wasn't actually accepted as much more from owners, maybe from budget parameters, but and then maybe technology wasn't that also advanced. But I think now going forward, it's going to be a demand. So to satisfy a demand and a guest need, we would be definitely putting it in for public toilets. For guest rooms as well, ideally we would like to. It's an interesting question, because will we have as much range in design in the sensor technology is a question which I think we would probably put forward to the vendors that we work with and to the manufacturers, and it's something we can brainstorm together, because if my design becomes limited, it is actually a toss between a customer need, because to me the customer is the guest, the end user, or my client if it's a residence, and I want the best for the client. So if it's demand from the client, definitely we do need to be smart in the design and work around that.
Yeah. And, talking about technology in a lighter way, I was just reading somewhere and it came to my mind that, we never know that in future we might have toilets where after a shower, you get into a drying chamber. You don't even need a towel to, even dry yourself up. So those probably could again, we never know. We never know. We might come up with something like that as well, so that even, the towels, the hygiene standard of even touching something. And so I think time will tell. It's all work in progress, and there will be sort of a transition that will happen. So Harshit, from you, in terms of the executing these projects and new projects, as well as what is the main challenge that you face with developers and with your consultants? How do you work together along with them? How does it actually add value to a project?
First of all, I would like to say two things: that they have this mirrors, they are voice controlled mirrors for their washrooms, which respond to your voice, like about the power of light, up down the light. Even they have this volume, they have this speaker feature as well, just like Alexa. They have this now. And the drying feature, these WCs nowadays have dryer in them, to remove the tissue paper, toilet paper.
Yes.
They have such technologies now.
So all these will develop definitely.
Exactly, it will evolve eventually.
So because you are executing your projects in coordination with these consultants, and how does a manufacturer say, because manufacturer and designer is designing, and specifying, the manufacturer will produce and they will bring it together. Now it comes to somebody like you to do the toilet fittings and fixtures and everything to that specification. And there is a plumbing consultant who will design the plumbing lines, the drainage and everything. So all that definitely. But between you and the plumbing consultant, what is the kind of sort of sync so that you could have no deviations or you can still do?
When we all sit together, first of all, we prepare shop drawings so that we can propose our planning or work to them, consultant, that you have proposed this and we think it is better this way. So we sit together, we brainstorm on this, that which way is it better. Either we should take the pipes to this way or we take the pipes to this way, depending on consumption of pipes and water. Most important thing is hygiene factor of the water, that the quality of water should be maintained at any cost. So we use this ACF and MGF to maintain the quality of the water. Secondly,
can you elaborate on this a little bit? ACF and MGF?
ACF is activated carbon filter and MGF is multigraded filters. So we use them to filter the water so that before it is being supplied to any toilets or anywhere, it is filtered. Raw water is not supplied anywhere.
Okay.
For
Another question here is that in a execution of a bathroom space or a washroom space, what I have seen, which is a new innovation which is coming, is also prefabricated, pipelines. That means the pipelines and are all prefabricated in the factories, so that there is a sort of a mock-up done depending on the shaft size, and then they prefabricate. Thereby, they reduce the human interface and also a lot of stress on the site as such. So is that something that is happening?
It is the concept of that my one concept, ma'am, in which all the work is done pre-handedly. The civil work is done pre-handedly. It is already pre-casted. We don't have to do chasing in the walls or in the floors to insert our pipes. All the chasing is already done in the floors or in the pipes. We just have to install our pipes and fit the work. That's it. It is really a blessing to this industry, my one concept, because it has reduced our cost of work, cost of labor by 1/3. It is a very, very, very nice innovation.
Okay. So Amit, a question to you in terms of the sustainability part in a bathroom. What do you think is something that we need to concentrate on now? Because water is going to become the next, sort of, I would say, gold or diamond or whatever you might call it, because that resource is diminishing, day by day. We are all consuming.
Right, Madhu. In a study, their result that by 2050, it will be like a no water. We have to force to reuse the water. Like we have to aware the people that this is not free. This is very prestigious. This is like priceless. You have to save the water. You have to reuse the water. Everybody has to recharge the groundwater. Like these days, everybody waste their roof water. Like when the rain come, everybody give that water into the sewage. It should be recharged.
So from a washroom perspective, say the wash basin water extract which is coming out, can it be used for flushing? Is something that we can, is it, and I have read about it that people are doing and trying. There are some challenges though, but have you seen that happening, or do you see that happening, in a bigger way in future?
Yes, I have seen with the 50%, like first floor washing water will be used in the system of ground floor.
Okay.
And they are using filtering system in between that. Very good system. Like every time you wash your hand, you waste 2.5 liter water. That will, if you can use in the system, that will be like a very good thing.
Okay, so Ashutosh, just coming back to you, I need to have some insight on your antimicrobial finishes and glazes that you normally do to your fittings and fixtures, and all manufacturers, including yourself as a company and other companies, they are really putting a lot of focus and development. So if you can share some examples of the same so that, the audience is aware of those as well.
Yes. this is another category where there's a lot of attention in the recent past. And the hygiene glaze that we speak about, basically a glaze which ensure that you reduce the risk of bacterial infection. And typically, as a company, the manufacturers, what they do is in the bowl area of a toilet, it is possible to apply an additional coat of a glaze. It's a hygiene glaze. It, of course, reduces the gloss finish of it. It becomes a little bit matte because of the technology involved. But end of the day, because of this mineral coating over top layer of the ceramic, which is a long lasting, this mineral has such a properties that it doesn't allow bacteria to multiply, and in fact in 24 hours the bacteria become nearly zero. So this is like an automatic function, and because of that, and that area being prone to this kind of a challenges, that not only help reduce the use of harsh chemical, it it reduces the pollution of the water, but in addition to that, it gives a security to the user that the bacterial infection can be avoided. So this kind of glazes are available in different name by different manufacturers, and people use different kind of technologies. So zinc oxide is, for example, one. Silver oxide is another. These are the different kind of oxides which helps you to reduce. So zinc oxide is nothing but in a common man language, if I can tell you, it is what a Dettol is being manufactured from, and that's a mineral property of it which is being used in the ceramic coating. And this is of course available, and at the moment most of the companies are concentrating use of it in the toilet area. In the basin still it's not popular. There is a different kind of a finish called wonder glaze. It's a kind of a smooth finish where the idea is to the dirt or the all kind of things will go away by a simple flush, and you don't have to harshly maintain or do the cleaning from time to time, because the clay from which ceramic is made has a property, is a stickiness property. So something stick on its body and you need a very hard cleaning. So that can be avoided when you use a kind of a wonder glaze kind of a technology. This technology is nothing but what it's like a melamine on a wood that we use, it's a coating, and which help reduce the maintenance or the cleaning part of the activities. So especially when you self-maintain this kind of a product, it's a lot easier and gives you an assurance in terms of health and hygiene over a long period of time.
Okay. And Ashutosh, if you can just throw a little light, like if you have a fitting and a fixture, say a WC, which does not have this antimicrobial coating, and then you have another one by the side of it, which has that coating, what would be the price differential in terms of a percentage, if we were to just talk about in terms of the fittings?
From
From a
yes,
budgeting,
so
from a budgeting perspective is
sure,
something
I
that.
can imagine this cost is not very significant on one side, and these costs are between about 5 to 7% of a
Okay.
product, the final
Okay.
finished product.
Okay.
So
So,
it
so the
won't be
cost
beyond that norm.
cost won't be too high. That's what
Yes,
is
yes,
something that
that's
we
right.
need to understand. And
That's
Ritu, I come back to you with one question that now that toilets, we are looking at the hygiene aspect, the touchless aspect, and everything. Do you think that designers need to go back on the drawing board and try and reduce the amount of surfaces, you know? So do not have too many surfaces which are horizontal, where somebody needs to touch. So a more cleaner vertical surface, and only say the vanity might become just that one surface in a bathroom, not too many niches. Say if I can give you an example, say in a shower cubicle, you normally have a niche sometime where you store your toiletry, etc. So probably in the new designs, will they vanish? Will something else comes in place? Because that's also the corners and everything will hold some sort of bacteria all the time. So even the way, I think a lot of technology in terms of even implementation of materials will change. So I'm just asking your opinion, being a designer, because we need to look at that aspect while designing. So
Sure.
what do you think about it?
So I think we can't do away with it completely, because you do need to have a space for the toilet amenities, but it has to be designed smartly so that probably I would need to give a space, but just give enough, from a more practical point of view. And like you said, it should be easy to clean. So I would look at a more, rectangular, clean angles rather than curves or triangle corners. So if I do it, I would try to do the niche in a clean line, rectangle niche. And also, again, coming back to lighting, have the space well lit. In terms of vanity counters, it's a bit of a contradiction in the sense that I'm seeing that guests are going to carry more of their own accessories, toilet accessories more because of the hygiene factors, and hotels may not want to put toilet amenities right now. So you do need counter space. We cannot eliminate totally. There has to be a minimum amount of counter space, but we can look at things like maybe a freestanding vanity counter or wall mounted, so that as a unit it is self-sufficient. So I would probably still have some drawer space for the guests to put their personal toiletries and not have too much of a counter space, because we have to remember that while we're thinking of the cleanliness and the hygiene, we're also thinking of the guest's need of using a space.
Yeah.
So it's a balance of the two things.
Two things together. And there was a question specifically for you. It's that is, the bathroom furniture. You get these integrated situations in which you have a furniture piece integrated with the toilet, say a vanity, and then you have some whatever you were mentioning just now.
Yes.
Do you think that from a design perspective that would become more popular as we go forward compared to actual things happening on ground? Just to pick up a piece and integrate it in design might be a better option. What do you think?
Definitely.
What do you think?
I think that is in residential, it's definitely a growing demand, and we're seeing very interesting designs coming out. In hotels, we can plan it going forward. I think till now, at least we've not picked up ready-made spaces. We've designed the concept with our design, with the sanitary fixtures and the counters, but going forward, probably it can be looked at for hospitality as well. And I think to take that concept of furniture a little to further is, you are looking at a sort of very niche, sleek storage units, which again, so the designs are coming together as a complete package from the brands or the vendors, where you're looking at it as an integrated. So for example, if I'm doing a gray and white neutral concept, I would look at a storage counter in gray, but a vanity counter in white. So it sort of balances out. So those things are there. And we're also looking at, counters which don't have to be like a box. So for example, we've designed something which used to be there earlier, which is more like it's on a stand. So you have a vanity counter on, very interesting brass stand, or it could be an industrial look. So you go with the black concept. And then that also works as a space to hang your towel, the hand towels. So it's all about thinking out of the box, even for the bathrooms right now, because even accessories are having more importance. And you're seeing accessories like whether it's the towel hook or the towel handles, that those themselves are all integrated with a concept. So if you're going for a clean line, angular ones, you're getting it in the accessories. If you're going for a more let's say classical design, then everything comes in the classical look. So it is definitely going to be, I mean, we're already integrating it, but the good thing is that we're getting those from the brands as well to match the whole thing together.
And Ashutosh, one point I wanted to check with you now, since you are doing all these developments and all the time, any manufacturer for that matter is evolving all the time. Now, how is it this process, at your end? How do you do? Is there a sort of a survey that you do? Is there feedback mechanism? What is it that you consider before you decide, okay, this is what is required or this is what the need is? Like in design, there are these color trends that come in every year and say, okay, these are the colors which is for 2020. These are the colors and I think 2020 colors have all gone wrong because probably we didn't even have the opportunity to use these colors so much. So probably they'll extend into 2021, hopefully. with
Okay.
brighter tones to it, Ritu. Let's hope things come that way. But I just wanted to ask you, what do you think is affecting, or how does a manufacturer, because this is something that I've been really wanting to be very, understand, how do you normally take that feedback and develop these things?
Yes. So, as far as feedback is concerned, we have a continuous feedback mechanism from industry professionals and also end users.
Mhm,
So, we of course take an help of an independent research. We collect the feedback directly from our customers. We send the feedback requests, collect it, summarize them, and at a global level, we assemble them at a one place to take a feedback.
mhm,
So that is one way. And like, for example, few things we found that there's a growing need for a comfort. For example, we need to do something for the small space in the bathroom.
mhm,
These are the driving new age design. So these are all the feedback coming from either the urban customers. And we found that in our portfolio, these products were missing, and probably the need is arising, and we have to address that. The other thing that we do is that there's a technology evolving around in other areas. Electronic is a very classic example.
mhm,
So this technology which is happening in other place, we are constantly looking at it, how this technology can be adapted in bathroom. What is the advantage that we could offer to the end user with this technology? And classic technology we speak about is a sensor technology again, for example. So that has now come into the bathroom. It originally came from electronic industry. So this is another thing which happens around us. The third thing is, design is also at times a trend which you follow from other product categories, be it a phone or a refrigerator or a car. They certainly are the, lead torch bearers of the industry, and they follow, they take the design trends. And obviously, these are the other things which we try to adapt in our system. For example, the sleek or a very straight line, simple design, elegant design was the trend some time ago. And I mean, it's all started with an iPhone, and other companies or other categories of a product one by one followed, be it a home appliance or a bathroom toilets and stuff like that. So these are the 2 3 areas from which the design comes. And as a manufacturer, our job is to first look at it within this design. End of the day, a basin is a basin. It must function in 100% way. So while adapting design, very important is that the basic parameters of its functions are fully fulfilled.
mhm,
In addition to this, we also hire an external product designer,
mhm,
and they also are, because they're also designing product in other categories, so they also bring a mix of ideas, and we adapt it. But as a manufacturer, we always stay focused that what about the hygiene, what about the functionality. I mean, this must stay no matter if we adapt new design or a new technology. We should not miss out on that. So we do integrate these kind of ideas together ultimately to bring down, and this gives you a new product, newness in terms of something, an offering which
mhm,
make things interesting for the end customers.
mhm.
And that's what we normally follow.
Good, good. Amit, for you, one question. Do you think in washrooms and in bathrooms, will occupancy sensors become very much popular? Like in public area washrooms, they are already very popular. But maybe in hotel guest room washrooms also, because then also that avoids your touch and feel for the switches and everything, putting them on and off. So do you think that is also coming in a big way in designing?
It's coming actually. It save energy and touchless. So it's give both benefits to the user.
Have you done that? You have you utilized that in some of your projects?
Yes, we have done both of things
Yeah. So even in rooms. So another.
in
Okay.
even in
So
guest room.
Ritu, in terms of materials, what you mentioned at the start of your conversation, that you are now trying to look at different materials. How are you, handling that aspect of design in terms of when you're looking for new materials, say for a vanity, we are using a granite or a marble or an Italian stone or a marble. Now we might be open to even these simulated stuff, etc. Now, what is it that you're looking at, and how is it affecting, your, say, database of materials that you are even looking at when you are doing a presentation for a project as such?
So we do the research as to what is new in the market. And so, for example, I mean, it's not new, but Korean is something which,
Yeah.
we like to use. And you get engineered stone as well, and composite marble as well. So probably, the composite stone, we have to be careful. Even so, within the material may not be a problem, but within the range, maybe sometimes we may not go for a certain color. We do research as to what is, on the absorption levels. So if something is new in the market, we of course, want to be, we ask the questions of the specifications. What are the tests that they've done? Sometimes we may be the first that are using it, because I remember, especially when Korean came in, it was a battle to convince clients to use it, especially in the vanity counters, or later, that's of course for restaurant tables. But we do work with the manufacturers to understand what are their test methods if we are the first ones to use a product. And in terms of materials, I think in some way, like especially for bathrooms, you have to work within the parameters. It's more about seeing what are the new options. So for example, if I go for the flooring, I would go for anti-skid tiles, or I would do a balance of a horn finish with the smooth finish of the marble. So there are all these aspects that we sort of, in a way, work backwards, that we first look at what is the need in maintenance and in safety in bathrooms, and then choose the materials within that.
And also a question, do you think in times to come, the use of marble and stone will get limited, and you will have probably more applications with tiles and other finishes which are much more sustainable, or it will depend on the segment of the hotel?
It definitely depends on the segment, although we are seeing very interesting tiles coming about. We are seeing, of course, there are larger tile formats, and which look like marble as well. So those are being used. We actually like to use some tiles which give a different design, but the cost is not less than stone. So sometimes it happens, again, more because of the mindset, that a client feels that, if I'm going to spend as much as a stone, then I would rather use a stone. So the shift is happening, but I feel that you can call it maybe the desire, or the wish list of using marble is still there, especially in the luxury segment. And it's probably more the guest perception that if I'm paying a certain rate at a 5-star deluxe hotel, then I need to see marble, or I should be seeing marble. Whereas I would probably love to do a very nice tile, which maybe gives me a fluted design, or gives me a washed design, and at the same time has a rough finish, so it saves the same anti-skid purpose. And that might actually be a little more or as expensive as a marble. So it's about then, working with the client, making them understand the choice of the materials. That I think if you're convincing them that the practical usage and the design usage both are achieved, then it's easy to convince on that aspect.
Yeah. So there is a question of on a chat that they want to understand what are the views for the next generation products. So according to me, and they want a little bit of my opinion. So what I feel, I think we've covered quite a bit in our discussion today. So the hygiene glaze, for instance, in the WCs, the touchless technology which will be coming into the bathroom space, in terms of, without touching anything, try to operate a WC flushing, or say a faucet operation as such. Lighting as well is something that we can look at, which will come in. And also water less solutions as well will be innovated in times to come. From a material aspect, as discussed by Ritu, we are looking at, say, more functional materials which look good aesthetically, but they also are functional. They do not let microbes grow on them, like use of Corian on the vanity tops or Corian-like simulated stone, because marble, granite over a period of time is a natural product, and it also adds on to the luxury. In my opinion, if I was to say from a designer perspective, I think the flooring and the vanity, the marble is there to stay, or even the luxury, or say the mid segment, upper upscale as such. And the tiles, verticals, definitely the marble might just over a period of time just vanish away. What I also feel, and I have listed a few trends also in hotel bathrooms, which I thought would be good to share with the audience. The shower, also the incorporation of a steam in the shower might become actually very important, because again, with steam and everything, you kill microbes to have, and then you can actually in a way sanitize your body. You feel good and better when you are doing that, so things might get into that. Also, antibacterial surface technology, we've already spoken, which are inbuilt, but there are companies that are developing these nanotechnological chemicals which can be applied with almost 100 days of application, where microbes will not grow. So it also eases a little bit on the housekeeping aspect of maintaining, because they have certification. So those are things that we are all working towards, and it's a lot of work in action. I personally feel that the healthcare industry and the hospitality industry will really come together in this time, because there's a lot of learning from healthcare industry that hospitality imbibes. But in any which case, we do not want our hotels to become hospitals. We do still want our hotels to be a home away from home. That's what is the next generation looking for. They're not looking at a space, and that is changing. And it's sort of, I always say it's a transition phase right now. It's not, it's something that we need to do today for the next probably 2 years. And then we have to get back to where we were, in a normal scenario. And that's what is coming. And we have to embrace technology. I think we cannot hide from that anymore. Also, there are high quality ceramic products also being manufactured in terms of tiles, with these coatings and everything which is coming in. Even in terms of products like wood, there's a lot of these companies like Greenlam, Century Plywood, and all. They are working very hard with the nanotechnological inbuilt technology, so that they could also, even our FF&E part can be handled in a much more safer manner for that matter. I personally feel in times to come, fabrics will also try and get into a direction where they will, in terms of general design, if we want to talk, and in bathrooms, which is our focus today, use and maybe a feature wall might just come in a big way to make the vanity much more special, and everything else may just become very neutral, is what I feel from a designer point of view. But that will all change, because see, design is very subjective. But we can also, if I just were to ask each one of you to just share your last words, and then we can probably, we have about just 3 minutes to conclude. So if we can just share one. So Amit, to start with you, if there is one suggestion that you want to give to the audience, what would you say for a bathroom? Now let's be focused on the bathroom as such.
Mainly hygiene finishes has to be there. So joints should be filled with the sealant that will not stop the growing the bacteria.
Okay.
Be very good. And all fixtures should be touchless. And,
yeah. So Ashutosh, one point that you want to communicate to the audience, your phone is muted. Your speaker is muted.
Yes. So health, hygiene, and functionality, I think these are the three key parameters. And quality, design, and technology from a product perspective, I think if you have a good combination based on your personal need, I think that would be the right solution for a bathroom in times to come.
Okay. And Harshit, your last words.
The most important thing is that piping is the veins of any building. So it has to be done in a proper way and in a way that it has to be done only. No, any sort of, I mean to say that any sort of negligence should not be think on that part, keeping in mind the quality of pipes or the way of working.
Okay. Okay. So the execution part has to be really
Really. Because
taken
piping,
care.
according to me, piping is the veins of any building.
Yes. Agree. Agree. Thank you. And Ritu, what's your last words?
I really am excited about the technology integration, and I think we should have more anti-fog mirrors, which is not being used enough in, especially in hotels. I hope we will be seeing the matrix type integration of the mirrors with your phone, and seeing it in the mirrors itself, all the technology. And I heard about this, which I think it's fantastic if it happens. It's a drone-like mirror which helps you actually see the back of your head in the bathroom,
Yeah, I was
and
reading.
the hair, and so you can see your hair and groom that. And I think we have so much attention to the front with the lighting and the shaving mirror and the mirror that I think it's a time. I'm very happy if someone does something for the back as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good. So thank you all of you for sparing your time and sharing your insight with the audience. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to share with the organizers, and they will share with us. And they can share our contacts. You can even connect with us personally, and we'll be happy to be part of you and look forward to connecting with you all again in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.